Hi, I'm Charlie. In this video, we're going to look at 3 ways to improve your academic essay writing. Hi, I'm Charlie from Organic English. I'm going to help you become more fluent in English. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you write more efficiently and concisely and make your writing clearer and easier to understand for the reader. At the end of the video, I'll throw in 1 bonus tip, so stick around for that. So today we're talking about writing for academic purposes, maybe for the IELTS or the TOEFL, and we can also apply this to writing for business. This doesn't necessarily apply to writing a letter or a postcard to grandma or your pen pal, so keep that in mind. We're talking specifically about formal writing, maybe business writing or academic writing. Now, the first tip is to avoid the construction it and the be verb or there and the be verb. So in other words, avoid it is, there are. These are known as expletives. Here's an example to illustrate what I'm talking about. There are several ways to improve your writing for the IELTS test. So at the beginning of the sentence, you can see there are. So let's cut that out. Let's take out the there are. There are several ways to improve your writing for the IELTS test. Becomes you can improve your writing for the IELTS test in several ways. So why do we avoid expletives? There is, there are, it is, there were. Well, one of the reasons is when we write, we want to write clearly and concisely. We want to avoid wordy and weak prose. Here, there are adds words that don't contribute to the sentence. Removing there are puts more emphasis on the subject, you, and the object, writing. Let's look at a few more examples. There's a car parked in my driveway. Taking out there is, a car is parked in my driveway. Here's another example. It is the president who signs or vetoes bills. Taking out the expletive construction it is, the president signs or vetoes bills. There was a big storm which tore off the roof and people ran into the street. A big storm tore off the roof and people ran into the street. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Avoid overusing noun forms of verbs. Use the verb when possible, rather than the noun form. The noun that's made from a verb is known as a nominalization. For example, the verb decide. The noun form is decision. The verb argue. The noun form is argument. Here's an example. This example provides an illustration of the problem with nominalization. So let's remove illustration, the nominalization, the noun form of the verb, and replace it with the verb itself. This example illustrates the problem with nominalization. Here's another example. The commencement of the ceremony will be at midday. Commencement. The ceremony will commence at midday. So I replaced commencement with the verb commence. So why do we use verbs when possible rather than the noun forms of the verb? First, the noun form means that we add unnecessary words to the sentences. And secondly, it makes a sentence harder to read and to understand when we use the noun form. Notice I said earlier, don't overuse the noun forms of verbs. There are times when nominalization can work. For example, it can make your text more authoritative. Tip number 3. Avoid roundabout expressions, also known as circumlocutions. Now, these are commonly used expressions that take several words to say what could be said with fewer words. Many of these expressions are habitual figures of speech And in writing, they should be avoided because they add extra words without extra meaning. A good example is, at this point in time. Let's see that phrase in a sentence. We don't have all the details, but at this point in time, it seems that the suspect acted alone. Now, you often see something like that in a news story, for example. At this point in time just means right now or currently. So let's modify that sentence. We don't have all the details, but right now it seems that the suspect acted alone. So purely from a word count perspective, we've managed to cut 3 words from the sentence. Here's another very common example. Due to the fact that Jenny was late for class due to the fact that she missed the bus. What does due to the fact that actually mean? It simply means because. Jenny was late for class because she missed the bus. One last example to illustrate this point. It is necessary that. It is necessary that Jenny gets up earlier tomorrow to arrive on time for class. It is necessary that simply means must. Jenny must get up earlier tomorrow to arrive on time for class. So there you are. 3 tips to make your academic and business writing more efficient and direct. Let's go over those 3 tips again. First one, avoid there is, there are, it is. Avoid expletives. Second tip was avoid overusing the noun forms of verbs. Avoid nominalizations. And the third tip was avoid roundabout expressions, also known as circumlocutions. Now, I did promise you an extra tip. We've been talking about how to avoid unnecessary words, how to write more efficiently. But that doesn't mean we should use contractions, okay? What do I mean by contractions? Isn't, haven't, don't, can't, shouldn't, couldn't, and so on. Don't think that we can write more efficiently by using contractions. Write out the word or words in full. Isn't, is not. Haven't, have not. Don't, do not. Can't, cannot, etc. Quick note, notice that do not is 2 words, cannot is just 1. I hope you can apply these ideas to your next writing assignment. Keep in mind, you might not get it the first time, but writing is a skill we need to practice just like any other. Now, don't forget to go to organicenglish.club, where there are plenty of other resources to help you become more fluent. Please also subscribe to my newsletter. Subscribers will get cheat sheets, mini lessons, and video updates direct to their inbox. Now, if you got any value from this video, please hit that like button and hit subscribe if you want to see more. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Now go out and practice your English.